Good evening. I would like to call to order the Anoka-Hennepin School Board meeting for today, January 12th, 2026. Please join the board in pledging our allegiance. All right, board, our first order of business is to approve the board agenda. Is there a motion to approve the board agenda as presented? Thank you, Director Langenfeld. Is there a second? Thank you, Director Audette. Any discussion? Hearing none, would all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Any opposed say no. With 6 in favor and 0 opposed, the agenda is approved. Members, the next item on our agenda is item 4, the organization portion of our agenda. So the first meeting in January is our organizational meeting, and there are several items that we will move through. And the first is the ceremonial oath of office for school board members. We will welcome Tom Hunt from the Anoka County Elections. And as we are all returning members, when we rise, we can just stay at our seats to take our oath of office, and Tom will lead us through that. Thank you.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And of the state of Minnesota.
And of the state of Minnesota.
And that I will faithfully discharge my duties.
And that I will faithfully discharge my duties.
Of the office of school board member.
Of the office of school board member.
Of Anoka-Hennepin Independent School District.
Of Anoka-Hennepin Independent School District.
To the best of my judgment and ability.
To the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom, for being here with us tonight, and congratulations to all re-elected school board members. Members, the next item on our agenda is item 4B, the election of officers, as referenced in Appendix B. So with this, I will open the floor for nominations for board co-chairs or chair. Are there any nominations for board chair or co-chairs? Director Langenfeld.
I would like to nominate our current board co-chairs. You've provided the consistency and support, and I think right now we are at a place and a time where stability in our organization matters. You have worked through some challenges and opportunities, and I believe that board members, at least from my perspective, have had their agenda items rise to the top, and that you have worked in partnership with the superintendent and kept us informed as well. So that's where I stand.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for board chair or co-chairs? Director Audette.
I'll nominate Director Hoekman and Director Langenfeld.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for board chair or co-chair? Any other nominations for board chair or co-chair? Okay, hearing no other nominations, we have nominations for DeShane and Arco to remain as co-chairs, and we have a nomination for Hoekman and Langenfeld to become co-chairs. Is there any discussion that board members would like to have with 2 nominations on the floor? Director Arco.
Well, thank you for the nomination. I'm happy to continue serving in that role, but I will also just throw it out there, Director Hoekman, if you are interested, I'm more than happy to vote for you and Director Langenfeld, so just let me know. I could go either way, to be totally honest, so it's whatever you guys' preferences are.
Director Simon.
Thanks, Casey. I think it's, I mentioned this before in meetings, so I don't think it'll be a surprise to board members, maybe to the community, so I can explain it a little bit. But I understand that there's probably not another option But I personally don't think the co-chair model has served our board well. And I'll try to be brief, but when I first started on the board, and over the majority of my time, Tom Heidemann was our chair. And I thought that his leadership and management style as chair greatly helped our board and our district for effective governance. In my view, he focused not only on really the will of a quorum of the board, but on each individual board member, honoring both of those things equally. And often, as board chair, he would even compromise, perhaps even personally, for the betterment of the board and the district. And board meetings were very efficient, effective, still allowing for individual views, but we didn't get bogged down when we couldn't find agreement. And I thought one of the most important roles of a board chair is the partnership with our superintendent, and really for a successful board and overall board and superintendent relationship. So I'm really convinced that that type of a model would have really avoided many of the difficult situations that this board had and that we faced over the last 2 years, and would have likely brought about the concerns and criticism of administration acting as an unofficial board member or bringing forward recommendations that didn't fit, would have corrected those. So I completely understand that others won't agree with me. I accept that, and I accept your views are just as valid as mine. So I'm not trying to disparage anyone. I just wanted to make sure that I gave my viewpoint to the board and for the community. I think that, so I don't know how I'm going to vote, but I think that what we're currently doing hasn't worked. So if it's a co-chair model, maybe changing up the personnel has a chance. But I don't know how I'm going to vote until we get there. So that's it. Thank you.
Members, any other discussion? I think, as I reflect on this, I think our district and our community deserve a functioning and low-drama school board, one that works together for the betterment of public education and for our students. To that end, we often have individual discussions with each other leading up to this meeting, and just in transparency, that's kind of normally how this would go. We would maybe come to conversations, and as of now, you can see, like, we haven't landed on an approach. I think many of us thought maybe as of last night, we sort of had a plan, and there was some new information shared earlier today. I think that's giving us an opportunity to go in with an open mind and think about what could work for this district and what might be best. I do think that, in my opinion, after being co-chair for 2 years, I've learned that you need to be able to work well with all of our staff. You have to show up for all of our students, and you have to have an open mind when considering board business. I do have concerns with board members who choose to not represent themselves as a part of the board in group activities. For example, if we're walking in parades for the district and people are not attending, if we're attending or not attending important district events, ceremonies for our students, recognition activities, the foundation fundraisers, choosing to speak on legislative issues before the legislature and representing themselves as a board member of the largest district, I don't think that serves the goal of cooperation, of working for the best interests of our district and of our students. And so I have grave concerns with that on a co-chair model. So, like Jeff, I don't know exactly where I'll land on this vote, but I do have serious concerns with some board member behaviors and what that would look like as a co-chair. I think because we have 2 nominations and there's multiple names, we'll have to vote on each one individually. So since the first nomination was made as Arco and DeShane continuing, I'd like to go through and call for a vote on that one, and then we could also go and call for a vote on the second nomination, if board members agree to that approach, so that we can have clarity on the vote that's occurring. Is there any concern with that approach? Yeah, okay. So for the first nomination of Arco and DeShane, would all those in favor signify by saying aye?
Aye.
And all those opposed say no? No. Okay, so that does not pass. There are 3 in favor and 3 opposed, so that is not going to carry. So then the second nomination of Director Langenfeld and Director Hoekman, would all those in favor of that nomination say aye?
Aye.
Okay, and all those opposed say no? No. Okay, so we have 4 in favor of that nomination and 2 opposed, so that will carry. So our new co-chairs are Director Langenfeld and Director Hoekman. Congratulations. And I do want it stated, the will of the board is what makes this a functioning body. And so when the majority of the board makes a decision, I, as a part of this board, support that decision and wish nothing but success for those serving in this role. And I'm happy to be a source of knowledge, if I can, and transition to make this work well. I would like to ask if we should consider continuing through the rest of the votes, or if we should pause and shuffle chairs. Does anyone have a preference? I'm happy to continue just facilitating the few conversations we have here to keep us moving efficiently, but it has also been past board practice to shift to the new co-chairs after that initial vote.
I think we need to shift.
Okay, so we'll pause for a minute here and do some musical chairs, and then we'll be right back.
This? Like, that's not right. Oh, so.
Thank you for the support. Continuing forward, we are now to the next officer role, and that is of clerk. Are there any nominations for clerk?
I'd like to nominate Jeff Simon.
Are there any other nominations for clerk? Any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll take the vote. All in favor for Jeff Simon for our clerk, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? Was 6-0, passes. Jeff Simon is our clerk. Thank you. And moving forward, now we have nominations for clerk. We did that. All right, moving on for treasurer. Are there any nominations for treasurer? Director Hoekman.
I'd like to nominate Director Audette.
Director Audette. Any other nominations for treasurer? Any other nominations for treasurer? Hearing none, we'll be taking the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye for Director Audette for treasurer.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. With 6 in favor and 0 opposed, the nomination is approved. And so this completes our elections, and I'd like to thank everyone for placing their trust in us as board co-chairs, and we will do our very best that we can do to serve. We'd also like to thank our board members who were willing to serve in these roles these last 2 years. Thank you very much. These are very hard and challenging jobs, and we appreciate people willing to take these on, so thank you as we move forward. Now we'll move on to the next organizational item, 4C, and that's our meeting dates. It's referenced in Appendix C. As you look at that, is there a motion at this time to accept the 2025-2026 board meeting dates as presented? So moved, okay, and my pen isn't working. Is there a second? Second. All right. Mr. Adet, any discussion at this time on the dates? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With 6 in favor and 0 opposed, the 2026-27 meeting dates are approved. Moving on to 4D, designate official depositories, referenced in Appendix D. Is there a motion at this time to accept the designate official depositories as presented?
So moved.
And that's Director Simon. We have a motion from Director Simon. Is there a second? Second. Director Adet with a second from Director Adet. Is there any discussion? Yes. Director DeShane.
Thank you, Co-Chair Langenfeld. Just wanted to alert the board that I will be abstaining from voting on the designate official depositories, as I don't want to create the even appearance of a conflict of interest with my day job.
Okay. Any other discussion at this time? All right, we will take a vote on that. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With 5 in favor and 0 opposed and 1 abstention, it passes. Moving on. 4E is the designate official investment financial institutions. Is there a motion to accept the designate official investment financial institutions as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Director Simon. Is there a second? Second by Director Adet. Any discussion at this time? Director DeShane.
Thank you, Co-Chair Langenfeld. Again, I will be abstaining from voting on this particular item to avoid even the appearance of a conflict with my day job. Thank you.
Very good. Any other discussion? We will take the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With 5 in favor and 0 opposed and 1 abstention, it passes. Moving on. 4F, delegation of authorities for MEGS, which is the Minnesota Education Grant System referenced in Appendix F. Is there a motion to accept the delegation of authority for MEGS as presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Simon. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Director DeShane. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With 6 in favor and 0 opposed, the agenda is approved. Moving on to 4G, designation of official newspapers. That's our next item. Moving on, is there a motion to accept the designation of official newspapers as presented?
So moved.
All right, we have that motion. Thank you, Director DeShane. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Director Adet. Any discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With 6 in favor and 0 opposed, our designation of official newspapers is approved. Moving on, delegation of authority for electronic fund transfers. And this is the authority for that. Is there a motion at this time to accept the delegation of authority for electronic fund transfers as presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Simon. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Director Adet. Any discussion at this time? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. With 6 in favor and 0 opposed, our delegation of authority for electronic funds transfers is approved. Moving on to 4I, authorization to sign contracts referenced in Appendix I. Is there a motion to accept the authorization to sign contracts as presented? Thank you, Director DeShane. Is there a second? Thank you, Director Audette. Any discussion at this time? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. With 6 in favor and 0 opposed, our authorization to sign contracts is approved. 4J, designation of identified official with authority for education identity access management referenced in Appendix J. Is there a motion to accept the designation of identified official with authority of education identity access management as presented? Thank you, Director Audette. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Director Simon. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. 6 in favor and 0 opposed. The designation of identified official with authority for education identity access management is approved. Expenses of board members. It is letter 4K, and it's Appendix K as well. Is there a motion to accept the expenses of board members as presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Simon. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Director DeShane. Any discussion? Yes, Director Simon.
Thank you, Michelle. Just a note that, and I'm not sure when it started, but this has not increased or changed since I've been on it, so for at least 13 years, but I think even much longer than that. So I just wanted to make note of that.
Thank you. Any other discussion or comments? All right. Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With 6 in favor and 0 opposed, the designation, I'm in the next one. Expenses of board members are approved. Moving on to appointments by the chair. These were actually from the prior chair, the co-chairs. We'll talk about that. Is there a motion to accept the appointments by the co-chairs as presented? Thank you, Director DeShane. Second from anyone? Second. Thank you, Director Simon. Any discussion? All right. Hearing none, I do want to thank you for the work, Co-Chair Arco and Co-Chair DeShane, for taking our priorities and putting them into our assignments. Thank you for doing that. All right. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. With 6 in favor and 0 opposed, the appointments by chair are approved. Moving forward to the consent agenda. Members, the next item on our agenda is item 5, the consent agenda, and as normal, members can remove items from separate consideration and discussion if that's their desire. Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented?
I'd like to move the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Director Simon. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. With 6 in favor and 0 opposed, our consent agenda is approved. So we've not removed any items. All right. We're moving forward to communications, delegations, and petitions. Our next agenda, this is our agenda item 6, in communications, delegations, and petitions section of our meeting. This is the time for our community members to provide input directly to our school board about issues that fall within the school board's authority. And we plan for about 15 minutes. Right now, I only see one card. Our policy allows for community members to speak for up to 5 minutes, but if there are several persons that want to speak, the chair has the discretion to reduce the time to comment to hear from all, and also to keep the meeting on schedule. During times of large community input, we have been flexible in allowing meeting to run late. Tonight, we have one card. Are there any other cards? We have one card, all right? So that will keep the meeting on time, and I will ask Co-Chair Hoekman to monitor a timer, and I would assume we can give this speaker up to 5 minutes tonight. So please, I have this yellow card. If there are others who would like to also fill out a yellow card at this point, you can please do so and give it to Ms. Ball. And just a couple of procedural reminders. Our meeting participation procedures are in place to assure open and orderly public comments as well as to protect the due process and privacy rights of individuals under the law. If speakers use specific names of students, of staff, or board members, I will need to interrupt and stop the speaker. Please remember to direct your comments directly to me as you speak. And members of the audience, please, we invite you to and ask you to listen respectfully, and if the board cannot hear speakers, I may have to reset the timer to allow those speakers. At this time, I would like to welcome Marian Yuma. Is that how you say your name? Welcome. Welcome to the board.
Good evening, Chair and members of the board. My name is Marianne, and this is my fiance Shelton, and we are parents in this district. We are here tonight to speak about student safety for everyone, students with disabilities and students without disabilities, because safety is the foundation for learning. For students who are nonverbal, who may elope, or who struggle to communicate distress, safety has to be built into the system, so it doesn't depend on luck or whether a parent finds out after something goes wrong. First, we need strong, consistent training and accountability around restrictive procedures and seclusion. Restrictive procedures are serious. When they're used incorrectly, they can escalate behavior, cause injury, and destroy trust, especially for children who can't tell you what happened. We are asking the board to ensure training is practical and ongoing, not a checkbox. Please ensure that staff have prevention and de-escalation first, so restrictive procedures are truly a last resort. Clear guidance on what is permitted, what is not, and who is authorized. Ongoing refreshers, not just one-time training, meaningful supervision and review when restrictive procedures occur, including pattern, tracking, and follow-up supports. And when restrictive procedure happens, families need timely, clear communication. Parents shouldn't have to chase information. Trust is built with transparency. Please allow AngelSense or comparable safety devices as a reasonable accommodation for students who are nonverbal or at risk of elopement. For some children, this isn't about convenience, it's about life safety. I'm asking the board to take action in 3 ways. Create a clear district procedure for requesting AngelSense through the IEP process. Train administrators and staff so decisions are consistent across buildings. Balance privacy with safety by setting reasonable guidelines rather than blanket denial. To be clear, I'm not asking to disrupt the classroom or violate anyone's privacy. I'm asking for structured, thoughtful pathway for students who need additional safety supports. I'll close with this. When a child is nonverbal, families often carry the heavy burden of proving what their child cannot say. That is exhausting, and it's preventable. Please prioritize safety for all students, strengthen training and accountability around restrictive procedures, and adopt a clear accommodation pathway for safety devices for students who need them. Thank you.
Thank you. If you would like to leave a copy of your testimony, are you welcome to send it to Ms. Ball, and then we can get it out to the rest of the board as well.
Okay,
Thanks
sounds
for-
good. Thank you for your time.
All right. The next agenda item is, oh, we do have one more card. All right, very good.
Hello.
Thank you and welcome to the board.
Well, I feel very welcome here, which I think I told you last time I spoke. We have such a long history in Anoka-Hennepin and in the Sandberg Building. I'm Kathleen Seacon. I am a 49-year Anoka-Hennepin participating parent, teacher, retired teacher, and a community member that's been very involved in this school district over the years. I have a story that I'd like to tell you, and I think when I spoke last, I told you another Seacon story, and I may have other opportunities to do that as well. When we first moved here in 1977, my husband accepted a position to start a new program called Experience-Based Career Education. And their location was right here in the Sandberg Building. It was down on the bottom floor. They had a couple of classrooms. They had 3 primary teacher facilitators, and they would make job assignments for students that would go out into the community, and they'd have 1 day a week when they'd be back in school. So that's how we arrived here in Anoka County. We bought our home in Burns Township, and at that point, our son was a 4th grader who transferred to Ramsey Elementary. Our little girls weren't yet in school, but the following year, Rachel started kindergarten. She really became well-known at Ramsey Elementary for a number of reasons, but she was she just loved school, and she just loved finding out everything that was going on. And she was in 3rd grade. And we were all having supper, I think, that night, and we were talking about our day. And she said, "Can I give Mrs. Reines a birthday present? She's going to have a birthday next week." And we said, "Sure, I think that would be good. Do you know what Mrs. Reines would like?" She said, "Yes. She would like a box of chalk." Chalk. This was spring of the year. They were running out of supplies. There was very little chalk left in the storeroom. Teachers, of course, were supplementing by buying their own and probably telling children they had to limit their use of chalk on the board, drawing and writing little messages and all the kinds of little things 3rd graders like to do. And yes, this was still the years of chalkboards, not whiteboards with your markers. It was chalk. And so we said, well, sure. And we wrapped up that box of chalk. She made a card for Mrs. Reines and took it to school. And Mrs. Reines was very appreciative of that box of chalk. And the reason I chose this story is because I think it illustrates that you should not be concerned about asking for help when you're in trouble. I don't think Mrs. Reines asked kids for chalk. In fact, I'm sure she didn't. I think my observant Rachel just noticed that Mrs. Reines was kind of limiting the chalk because there wasn't much left. The parents, community members who have never been parents, community members who are grandparents, all sorts of community members want to be able to help. There have been numerous times over the years where Anoka-Hennepin has had budget trouble. And I think the responsible thing to do is to ask the voters for help. They can let us know whether or not they are willing to approve some additional funds. And I'm a bit confused right now whether the correct word is an operating levy or a referendum. We're not talking about building schools. We're talking about operating funds. Whatever the proper term is, my request of you is please let us help. I would request a vote in the spring so that we have an opportunity to let those who are coming into our schools next year not have to face the dilemma that the students and parents and teachers are facing this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathleen. Okay. Moving forward, our next agenda item is item 7, board calendar and district update. I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent McIntyre.
Thank you, Co-Chair Langenfeld and board members. Good evening. Tonight, I'll be presenting some items of interest to the board and our community regarding the activities and events that we're proud of in our district. And we do this to celebrate our students, staff, and community members who are contributing to the accomplishment of our mission, which is to effectively educate each of our students for success. So first of all, tonight, I just want to take a moment to address our efforts to ensure school safety and support during increased immigration status enforcement. We did send a message out earlier, but kind of late this afternoon, to our community and our staff. Our schools have been working very hard to reassure our students and families that schools are a safe place with strong policies and procedures to protect student safety amid the increase in immigration enforcement concerns in the metro area. As the school board is aware, the school district works closely with our local law enforcement partners on matters of school safety. So while immigration and customs enforcement activity has not been happening in our school sites, it has affected students and families we serve, and our administrators and teachers have been provided with information to help support families, and we've posted information on our district website as well to inform our community of our efforts to do our best to ensure students are safe. I've also reached out with a message, as I mentioned earlier, today. So students and families should consider, always having those family-driven and agreed-upon safe places, and work with our caring staff to make sure that they have the best plan for their family in regards to safety during uncertain times and really at all times of every day of the school year. All right, I'm going to move on to our next item, and it's just a reminder of our district hiring event scheduled for February 11th. Anoka-Hennepin's first hiring event of the new year for operational and support positions is Wednesday, February 11th from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Educational Services Center. Those attending can enter at door 7. It's an opportunity to get hired on the spot the same day with interviews happening for paraeducator, custodian, food service positions, as well as before and after school care positions. If there's interest, people can complete our application in advance at jobs.ahschools.us and be ready to come and interview with hiring managers. Also a reminder that student registration is underway for the 26-27 school year. So students in grades 5 through 11 are in the process for registering for classes for next year. For 5th grade students, this process is primarily about considering their preferred music course. Students in grades 6 through 11 have the option to select electives as well as the level of rigor in certain subjects. Parents and guardians are encouraged to review their children's selections, and the registration process is completed online with details on how to register being sent out from individual schools. The district does use these class selections to determine the number of sections and in turn the number of staff needed in each curricular area prior to our staffing deadline in early April. Now that process has been launched here in January. Anoka-Hennepin takes pride in providing a robust curriculum set of options to meet the interests of our students, and residents can review the registration guides for both middle school and high school on the district website at ahschools.us. And lastly, just a plug for our Anoka-Hennepin Educational Foundation. They are gearing up for the annual fundraising gala, the Northern Star Celebration, set for Saturday, February 7th from 5:30 to 10 at the Bunker Hills Event Center in Coon Rapids. This is an entertaining and uplifting way to support students in our schools through the foundation's efforts. The event is open to members of the community who wish to attend. Now I know the spaces are filling up fast, so I wouldn't wait much longer. Anyone interested should visit the ahef.us website for tickets and additional information. The district appreciates the efforts of our Anoka-Hennepin Educational Foundation. They do so many things from a fundraising standpoint that turns into resources for our teachers in the classroom. And we appreciate many corporate donors and individual donors who are also helping support the learning needs of our students. So thank you for that. So Co-Chair Langenfeld, that concludes my superintendent's report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Superintendent McIntyre. Are there any comments before we move forward? Questions? Okay. The next item we have on our agenda is labor relations. Please welcome Dr. Jennifer Cherry, Chief Human Resource Officer.
Good evening, co-chairs, new co-chairs, members of the board, Superintendent McIntyre. This evening, in your packet, you will find an Appendix V, updated contract for the 2025 through 2027 contract years for our school office supervisors. I'm pleased to announce that our school office supervisors, represented by the Anoka-Hennepin Educational Office Professionals Association, have ratified a new 2-year agreement with the effective dates July 1, 2025 through June 30th of 2027. Thank you to the members of the employee and the district bargaining teams for their work in negotiating an updated employment contract. The updated terms and conditions include step and longevity movement each year of the contract, a 2% increase to the base rate each year of the contract, medical insurance contributions increased $40 for single coverage and $75 for family coverage per month in year 1, and an additional $95 for single coverage and $255 for family coverage per month in the second year of the contract. It also includes a dental insurance contribution increase of $5 per month, and a 403B matching district contribution has increased $130 per year. This total compensation package includes a 5.99% increase, or approximately $217,000 in new money. The contract equals $7.5 million over the course of the 2 years of the contract. The proposed agreement is within the authority provided by the school board, and as a result, I'm seeking approval of the contract as presented.
Board members, are there any comments or questions for Dr. Cherry? See none. If not, members, at this time before us is the approval of the 2025-2027 School Office Supervisors Master Agreement as presented in Appendix 5. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the 2025-27 School Office Supervisors Master Agreement.
So moved.
Thank you, Director Simon. Is there a second? Thank you, Director DeShane. So motion by Director Simon, seconded by Director Shane. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Hearing with 6 in favor and 0 opposed, the motion is approved. And thank you for your work on that, Dr. Cherry.
Thank you, board.
And now we have the next item, which is labor relations update. And again, welcome again, Dr. Cherry.
Wonderful. Thank you again. Our labor relations update is getting a bit shorter each month. And just a reminder, I do provide this labor relations update at our business meetings. And the purpose of this is to review the status of negotiations at our public school board meetings in alignment with Policy 209. It's consistent with open meeting law and PALRA that our detailed negotiation discussions are addressed in closed session of the board, and this is our opportunity to present a status update so that the board and the community is aware of how our contract negotiations are progressing. When we look at our contract negotiations, we have 4 distinct bargaining goals that we strive for. The first is to focus on a collaborative bargaining process. We seek to have a legally sound and operationally manageable agreement with clear and concise language. We are focused on recruitment and retention of very high-quality staff throughout our district. And anytime we are seeking updated terms in a contract, we ensure that we are fiscally responsible stewards of our taxpayer money within a fixed budget. When we think about the overall facts of our budget and where and how we pay our salaries and benefits in our school district, our fiscal year '26 general fund salaries and benefits total approximately $539 million. Our salaries and benefits are about 82% of our general fund budget. And when we are looking at our fiscal year '26 budget, that is for the current year, it did include a 2.5% increase in salaries and a 5% increase in benefits. Overview of our employee groups. We have 5 unaffiliated, these are non-bargaining groups in our school district, and 13 collective bargaining groups. We have several now with 2025 through 2027 master agreements. We have a set that are still functioning on 2024 through 2026 master agreements, and we have 3 remaining groups with 2023 through 2025 master agreements in place. Next, I'll talk about each of those 3 in greater detail. The first being our teachers. This is our largest group of employees. It includes all of our K-12 teachers, as well as adult basic education, early childhood family education, and preschool teachers. Our teachers are represented by Anoka-Hennepin Education Minnesota, Local 7007. There are approximately 3,200 employees in this group, and I am happy to announce that on January 7th, we did reach a tentative agreement with this group of employees. Our teachers are in the process now of ratifying the tentative agreement. They're reviewing that this week. If it is ratified, we will bring it to the board for authorization at the next board meeting. Just a note, with tentative agreements, that information of the detailed information in that tentative agreement, we reserve revealing those details until we bring it forward for your authorization. Then moving forward, we have 2 additional groups that are still open that we are in the process of moving forward with negotiations. The first being community school programmers and early childhood screeners. These are education support professionals represented again by Anoka-Hennepin Education Minnesota. This is a small group of only 9 individuals, and being that they are also represented by Anoka-Hennepin Education Minnesota, we typically wait to begin negotiating with this group until the teacher's contract has been updated. We also have 1 additional administrative group, our special education administrators. This is a group that's represented by the Special Education Program Supervisors Association. We have approximately 15 employees in this group, and our first meeting with this group is scheduled for January 28th. And like I said, our updates are getting shorter and shorter as we go through the year. We will provide regular updates at school board meetings as needed, and then continue to update our negotiations website on the school district website. And with that, I'm open to any comments or questions the board may have.
Thank you, Dr. Cherry. Any questions for Dr. Cherry? Yes, Director Simon.
Thanks, Michelle. 2 quick things, or 1 quick thing on this. Just thank you very much for all of your and your team's work. And also thank you to the Anoka-Hennepin Education Minnesota negotiation team too. You guys had a lot of meetings, you had a lot of discussions, you were very flexible. I think your counsel to the board and the district was wonderful. So thank you to both teams.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes. Director Arco.
Thank you. Just a quick question. Why is it that many of these contracts, but I guess let's focus on the teachers, why is their contract at least for the years I've been on the board, always approved mid-school year as opposed to like before school starts?
That's a great question about the timing of negotiations. Our contracts run from July 1 of any given year to June 30th, 2 years later. With our teachers being our largest group, and it is the largest impact on our budget, and they also negotiate, or their contract is up during the same time where it's also a legislative session that includes some financial, big financial decisions that are made around our own budget. So we typically wait until the legislative session concludes before we begin negotiating. So we typically begin in late May, early June. And then it is always our goal to have a contract settled before the school year starts, so that the idea of retro or figuring out what contract pertains to which year is not in question, but it is not uncommon for us to take a little bit longer, especially with such a large group.
Well, I mean, just since I've been on the board, that's all I've experienced so far, is it going into the year. So I guess my follow-up would be, is it reasonable that in the future we could do it before the school year starts? Like if that was a stated goal of both the union and the district, do you think that could actually come to pass, or?
It could come to pass if there was a commitment on both sides to not only meet earlier, but come to consensus quicker. We always have a lot of language items. The contract for teachers is the most complex contract, in that it's nearly 80 pages long. So there's always a lot to talk about, but I think you raise a good point, Director Arco, in that it does take commitment on both sides, both the district and the employee group, the union.
So if I could do one more follow-up.
Sure.
If you had to put your finger on it, you certainly don't have to, which side, or perhaps both sides, are lacking that commitment currently?
I think it's a commitment on both sides, and an understanding of what the priorities are and how quickly we can get to agreement on the open items.
Director Simon.
Zach, just a little bit of background. We did have a number of years where we settled before the school year started. So in the history of Anoka-Hennepin, we have had that, but I think Jennifer is completely right. Both sides have to, well, I think the district would always like to settle before the school year, but both sides have to be in agreement. And I think a key point is the legislative session. Sometimes just wait to see. Now, maybe it'll be different going forward because we get what we get. There isn't probably going to be big pots of money given to education potentially, so maybe that can change in the future. But in the past, we have settled a number of times before the school year started, and I would say that in my experience, that partnership has been a huge benefit in not only the contract, the final contract, put it that way, but also for the morale of the entire district. I think there's huge benefits to that. So I would suggest, hopefully this board would agree, that from the board and the district, we always try to do that, I would hope. So I don't know if that helps or not.
Thank you, Director Simon. Superintendent McIntyre.
Yeah, thank you, Co-Chair Langenfeld. Another piece of that puzzle is the board acts on the adopted budget in June, right before that window opens as well. So that helps set the board parameters around. We go through that discussion throughout the year, but once the board officially acts on that, that really helps the negotiating team and the union move forward with the formal expectations of the board around that coming budget. So all those things kind of come together through the spring, and when the session's on time, it helps land those expectations.
Any other questions or comments for Dr. Cherry? Thank you for your presentation and update tonight. And again, I echo Director Simon's comments and thank you for your team effort to get to a tentative agreement, and as well as HEM. 20 hours of straight discussion spoke to volumes in terms of people wanting to be able to get to a better place. So thanks for all that hard work.
Thank you.
At this time, it is 25 minutes after 7, we are nearing the end of our last board agenda item, and this is a time for the board to share. Members, this is our time to share happenings in our community, your community specifically, report on committee assignments or other items of interest. And at this time, in board correspondence and communication, does anyone have anything to share? Director DeShane.
Thank you. I just wanted to share a plug for our unified clubs. I had the chance to attend a basketball game, Champlain Park versus Coon Rapids, two schools that are dear to me, and it was an excellent game. And over halftime, the unified club played a basketball game. They are focused on inclusion and acceptance and spreading welcoming environments inside of our schools. So wonderful job to them, to the program coordinators that lead that effort, and I encourage you all to get the chance to see and live unified if you can.
Very good. Director Simon.
So beyond just the great news of a tentative teacher contract, a part of that was we got to continue activities. So I was able to go out to the Alpine ski meet, and most of our high school, I think all of our high schools were there, but the kids and parents were very excited. So get out to activities if you can, the entire community. And the last thing is, just board members, I know we're going to adjourn and you're going to want to run to see the GOAT quarterback play in a playoff game tonight, but stay, I need your signatures before you go, so please don't run out. Thanks.
Very good. Anyone else? I would just like to update folks. We have the upcoming Minnesota School Board Association convention coming up here beginning on Wednesday. And on Friday, Anoka-Hennepin has a team that will be presenting on literacy. And I am fortunate to be part of that as well, talking about Bridge to Read and our journey as a district. And Superintendent McIntyre will be there as well and to present. This is an important story to share. And students continue to be improving in their literacy, which is our board priority. So I'm very excited to be part of that and to uplift our story and also learn with and from fellow board members throughout this journey. And I know Director DeShane is going to be part of the elections down there as well, on participating as well. So thank you for that and that time to share this, and looking forward to other opportunities for the School Board Association as well. They do really great work. Any other comments or things for us before we adjourn? So at this time, we are to adjournment, item 10. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Director Simon. Do we have a second? All right, with a second from Director Audette, is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. With 6 in favor and 0 opposed, we are adjourned, and the current time is 7:30 p.m. Thank you.